Clearwater, Florida, every detail is more vivid and more vibrant than you could ever imagine. Where soothing waves beckon you to explore it all. Where miles of America's best beaches meet a world-renowned art scene. This fall, immerse your senses in St. Pete, Clearwater, Florida.
We go green flag racing here with race number 1. Oh, whoa, did you see that? Here we go, green flag, the start of race number 2. Oh, my. That's Ian Tosca out in front. McCluggage back out there in front. Look at it, it's time to go racing. That's the kind of thing that we like to see. James Wilson, first ever P1 Autocross victory. Now taking a look at the overall championship points, it's still Ian Tosca with a 7-point advantage over McCluggage. Snyder back there in third, Daly in fourth, Baldwin in fifth, and Landis in sixth with 115.
Dominated the motos, came out today, whole shot it, was leading it by maybe 15 seconds. Jimmy started to catch up a little bit. We had a slight problem with the boat, which forced me back to 7th place, and somehow we were able to still pull out the overall.
Ultimate performance. Ready to race. Ready for fun. From the backyard to the racetrack, Traxxas radio-controlled vehicles are engineered for years of high speed, high-flying fun. Visit your local hobby store to experience the fun of RC from Traxxas, the fastest name in radio control.
The 2004 next time comes NASCAR champion, shifting gears.
On the water right now. Again, going back to taking a look at the points coming into the weekend. Ian Tosca with 148 points. Chris McCluggage with 141 points. Tori Snyder, one of the young guns and one of our rookies, with 131 points. Christian Daly back there in the 4th spot with 126 points. And here's, I want to stop right there, Christian Daly. Christian Daly was the points leader coming into Michigan City, but just had a horrendous weekend and has dropped from 1st to 4th in just one weekend.
And what caused him to have a horrendous weekend? What happened in Michigan City? It wasn't a rough race. Was it attrition or mechanical? Or
I think it was. I think it was mechanical. I think they were having some clutch problems. But
okay.
The Broward Motorsports team seems to survive a lot of that kind of stuff. You know, you got Mack and Daly both up there in the top two. But one of the guys I want to talk about also before we get started here, he's in 6th place right now. That's Vanjie Ramji from the Cayman Islands.
Yep, I remember you talking about him in Michigan City.
Yeah, Vanjie, I'll tell you what, this kid, he kind of came from nowhere, and I can't really say he came from nowhere. He came from the Cayman Islands, the SEWA Association, the Cayman Islands Watercraft Association down there, and he took a 3rd place in the Bahamas back in 2019, which unfortunately I wasn't able to attend because I was getting married.
Yeah, congratulations. Maybe, I don't know.
But
take that whatever way you can get it.
But I'll tell you, then he came back this year and has had a couple of podium finishes. And that's put him right back up into the mix. You also got Brian Baldwin, and Baldwin was the 2019 national champion here in the United States, and you can never count him out. He'll be on the 502 running the Stars and Bars straight out of North Carolina. Chris Landis, another one of those racers who is right up there in the mix, running in the top 7. He's got 115 points, sponsored by Riva Racing. Him, Vanjie, Tori, 3 rookies up there in the top 6 spots.
That's awesome to see rookies come up, because that's how the sports grow, especially with Vanjie Ramsey being from the Cayman Islands, bringing that international flair in. That's really how these sports grow. That's how they turn into what they turn into, and it's great to see rookies running that good, because that inspires them to come back into the 2022 season, fires them up. They want to do even better, possibly get hooked up with a better ride, maybe the big team Broward Motorsports. Anything could happen when you run that good.
You can see our marshals out there talking to Anthony Radetich in 153. Radetich had a very good finish last race as well in Michigan City. He took a 3rd spot, and that's been the best spot for Sea-Doo all season long. That's
awesome to see them up there. Beautiful shot there of St. Pete. You can see the nice little sandy beach. This is where all the aquacross pits are, and then right across a creek on the other side of the marina is where all the offshore race boats will be, and that's where they're parked. They'll be testing later today and racing tomorrow.
Yeah, they consider that Spa Beach now, and let me tell you, I can't tell you how many races over the last 30 years that we have done literally on this beach right here, and a great shot of the backdrop there of St. Petersburg and just the skyline. So it looks like we're getting locked, cocked, and ready to rock and roll here from St. Petersburg. Let's talk a little bit about some of our amateur racing that'll be going on today as well. Yaniel Fialo and Graham Hunt both in a points battle for that amateur aquacross 300 class. You got some veterans coming out of the actually crickets. Last time I heard this from this guy, Judson Woods. Judson Woods used to race stand-up jet skis back in the late 80s.
Wow.
From the Daytona Beach area. I see his name down here. Jonathan Dent, who came all the way from the Honduras.
Awesome.
To be here. Tyler Erith, Eric Diaz, never one to count out on the 1, 2, 3. Dominico Barilla, Mikey Martinez, Pedro Jimenez, and Bobby Cardone. Cardone's Race Corner. Have you ever heard Cardone's Race Corner before? Does a jet ski show on a weekly podcast.
Okay.
And very, very outspoken, to say the least. And good to see Cardone here. Moed Salih, who came from Morocco. I was taking a look at the list a little earlier today. We got 20 pros, 29 amateurs, 6 different countries they're coming from.
That's awesome.
And to think about in this day and age, with the COVID stuff and everything going on, to have 6 different countries still represented here is pretty amazing.
That's awesome. Yeah, because we definitely don't have that in offshore right now. We did have back in 2019. Everybody remembers we had the Victory team. We had 222. And those pro floors not able to come in because of the COVID restrictions. Not just the COVID restrictions coming into the United States, but also the COVID restrictions going back into their country. Wayne Valder told me from New Zealand. He said, I have to quarantine for 2 weeks at my own cost in a hotel. So he said, by the time I get to the U.S., I do the race and I come back, it's like a month. So he said it just wasn't worth it. So hopefully in 2022 we can start to get back to some normalcy. Life can start getting back to a little bit more of a routine. Let me ask you a question, though. So you talked about Judson. Oh, there you go. Yeah, Judson Woods. You said he's from Daytona Beach, raced stand-ups in the 80s. Why? So to me, he would be in the pro rank level class, but he's in the amateur class. How come? Why is that?
Well, because he hasn't raced in so many years.
Okay.
And actually, racing the stand-up is a lot different than racing one of the sit-down boats that you got here.
Right.
So obviously, when you switch which division that you're racing in, you're going to go back in class.
Yeah, I was going to ask you this weekend. I was like, you got to get me on one of these, got a little practice run, make a little run around the creek here and find out how she does. And then they'll ask me, what am I qualified to run? You do HX, and they'll be like, what's that? It makes a lot of smoke and kills mosquitoes when you start it.
Well, it's a 2-stroke.
Right,
that's
what they do. Two smoke. Beautiful day here. So they'll do a full parade lap, right? The racers will get to see the course. Now, do they see the course in practice? Is a full course set up in practice for them to be able to run on?
Yeah, what they do is they'll take a lap around the regular course from where the start line will be. or where their starting area will be, because it'll be a running start.
Okay.
And they'll go around the course, full course once, and then they'll go around the course the second time, and they'll show them where the penalty buoy is.
Okay.
So if you miss a buoy out on the track, you must go and hit that penalty buoy on the following lap.
And to cut you off on the penalty buoy, basically what that's doing is making them run a longer section of the course to make up for cutting the buoy. Because if they cut the buoy and lost and gained 4 seconds, it's an unfair advantage. So that penalty buoy is trying to get that 4 seconds back, correct?
Right. And you know, it's up to the race director, too, that if they miss a certain buoy and straight line another buoy, that racer could be docked, actually, and penalized, even if they do go and take the penalty buoy, because they know that it'll be shorter to take the penalty buoy than to straight line another. So, you know, you've got to keep your eyes open, and, you know, that's the one thing about racing. You know, everybody tries to get that little advantage. You know, I mean, no matter what it is, whether it's in the tuning or whether it's on the track, or, you know, and the race director has to, you know, well, they got to keep their eyes open. They got to make sure that, you know, people are playing fair out there, especially with this race right here, the Visit St. Pete Clearwater Finals. And, man, I'll tell you, as I take a look down here, only 7 points between first and second place, only 17 points between first and third place. Third place, Tori Snyder. Snyder, somewhat of a local boy. That's kind of his home water. I expect him to do very well here.
Well, yeah, because he's going to understand it. But what kind of setup are they going for today? Are they going to go for a wide-open setup, or are they going to go for more of a conservative safety equipment type of what? I mean, are we going all out for this since it's the last race of the season, very tight points, or are we kind of hedging our bets a little bit here to you know, what's the strategy for this race for these top three?
I think, you know, for the top three, it's going to be, you know, to the window, to the wall.
Okay.
I think that they're going to be going for it, because we've got 3 races left. We've got 75 points available, 25 points per race.
Right.
And for those of you listening at home, it goes 25 points for first place, 20 for second, 18 for third, 16, and so forth all the way down. But those 25 points, when you get that 5 extra points, if you get that win, I mean, it's going to go a huge, huge distance here in the Visit St. Pete Clearwater round. Again, Ian Tosca coming in with 148 points. Our thoughts and our prayers go out to him and his family as they go through some personal stuff. But we sure love him up here in the booth. Again, Mike Young hanging out with Mike Yawoski. And Mike, again, boogity, 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 man. It's Saturday, and we getting ready to race. And I'll tell you, I can just feel it in my blood. It's coming. It's getting there. We're in a hotel room. It's hard to gauge the excitement that's going on out there.
It's air conditioned.
It is air conditioned.
That's a positive to that. So, but while we finish up our parade lap here, so we talked about the penalty buoy. We talked about having to do that. So in the offshore boats, race control can talk to the boats because they have the intercom, they have the VHF radios. The race boats can talk to their teams on land, so they can get information relayed that way. This is just like Supercross, Motocross, how we discussed before. There's no intercoms here. There's no talking to these riders. Yeah. So as I see it, and you can explain this a little bit better, but the course marshals are really the ones that are going to be enforcing a lot of the rules, right? Because the course marshals that are out there on the jet skis are going to see if Ian Tosca cuts that buoy. They're going to be the official that sees that, right? They can't communicate it to him, so they have to count on to be able to take the buoy on his own.
Right. We've got about 20 officials out there that are all making sure that nobody cuts buoys or does anything crazy like that. Obviously, the marshals are right there. They're Johnny on the spot. Yep. So, you know, they would have a direct call. As you can see, the racers coming around on the parade lap. There's number 45, Michael Bouchard, who comes from about 30 miles south of us down in Bradenton, Florida, where he has his own jet ski shop. And Michael did very good in the amateur ranks the last couple years. This is his first year as a pro. But Michael used to race the closed course with us for many, many years, and decided to check out the endurance stuff. And I don't know, Michael used to be a stand-up racer, and I guess as you get older, you want to sit down more.
Well, yeah, I kind of feel that way getting older myself. That's a good point. Never thought of it that way. You can see how much different the water is here if you're watching at home on YouTube or on the P1 Aquacross page. How much different the water is here. Last time you watched us, we were in Michigan City in completely fresh water, glacier water from up north down into Lake Michigan, and you didn't get all this aeration. You didn't get here the same water In fact, there's almost no aeration in freshwater, but a lot of aeration here. Now, granted, a lot of these guys are still bunched up doing their parade lap, but that's something they have to watch for a lot more in this saltwater because aeration is like ice, no traction.
That's right. That's right. You can just see, all the white water as you take a look right there. We take a look at Vinoy Park and the pier. Beautiful place to spectate the races too. Boy, if you're not here this year, man, you need to come next year. It's an absolutely amazing race site. Weather just about perfect. Again, like we said, just a light chop out there. It should be somewhat a fast track, a little slower than Michigan City. Water's going to be a little bit warmer.
Yep.
And as you pointed out, the aeration is going to be there because of the salt water. Again, while we have the opportunity, I'd like to say a very special thanks to Visit St. Pete Clearwater as well as CMR Construction and Roofing. And you know a little bit about them CMR guys, huh?
Yep, I do. Yeah, we'll see their super stock entry come out later, or tomorrow rather. Eric Mile and Sean Torrente. Actually, Sean Torrente races the F1 championship over in Dubai. He races actually for Abu Dhabi. He was actually over there testing. Came back here to run this week, and then he'll go back over there next week to be able to go race his F1 tunnel boat over there. So obviously a pretty well-traveled guy there, Sean Torrente. He'll be down tomorrow at CMR.
And them guys always sponsor the cool parties.
Yeah, they do, for sure. Yep, just like A-Game last night.
Yeah, A-Game, big shout-out to Webby and Danielle, two of the investors in A-Game. Webby used to race one of the P1 Superstock Panthers back when we were racing those here at the P1 series. Special thanks to ICOM for keeping us all in tune. Mercury Racing for powering us. Sunoco Race Fuels for putting fuel in the tank. And, of course, Myco Trailers for getting us here.
Myco Trailers, some of the best built in the industry. Don't know if they build trailers for jet skis, though.
Yeah,
I've never seen one.
I haven't seen. Well, you know what? Hey, Michael, if you're listening, build a jet ski trailer, man. We got a lot of them out there.
Yeah, definitely. Although a lot of jet ski trailer competition out there too. Is there a little bit smaller, probably a little bit easier to build rather than a boat trailer.
Taking a look at the 502 right there, Brian Baldwin. Brian Baldwin currently 5th in the points. Somewhat of a disappointing season for him. Because Brian was the 2019 national champion. Obviously a little hiatus. But Baldwin, he was doing very well earlier on in the season, had a couple of mechanical breakdowns. Brian was sponsored by the factory Yamaha team, and basically the sheet got lifted from underneath him right before the season started, and he had to go out buy his own boats. And so, he was experiencing a little technical difficulty right there in the beginning, but Baldwin is definitely never one to count out. This guy is he's absolutely amazing. Comes from just north of the Charlotte area, up there in Mooresville, Race City, USA, where he runs a company called Champion Power Sports.
Awesome. Now, when you say factory Yamaha support, was there a lot of technical support with Yamaha? Was it a full, what is it? What you see in motocross, supercross?
Yeah. I mean, he had a full ride. He got boats, he got the support. He got people to help him get his stuff to and from the beach. And this year, unfortunately, not getting that. But he got Riva to step up. Dave Bamdis and company down there in Pompano Beach, and Riva has stepped up to help him out again. Still currently in the 5th place position, but he has an outside shot. Again, 75 points available today, and through the weekend, I should say, because
it's the 3 races broken down, so it's 25.
25 for each race, correct. But
so if you're in the top 3 in points and you finish in the top 3 here, you want to really have, because there's another race this afternoon, and then we'll race tomorrow morning before the offshore boats race. So even if you don't have the best day today, in this type of environment, you're going to have to reset very quickly, get your mind right, get your head clear, because you really have to go after it in race number 2 today and race number 3 tomorrow.
And Mike, I talk about it all the time. It's consistency that builds championships. You don't have to win every battle to win the war.
Right.
You have to be up there, in the top 3. Ian Tosca has showed that. He's proven that all season long. And, that's the biggest, storyline here today. Arminio Ian Tosca, he made the switch from Sea-Doo to Yamaha this year. He's been a factory Sea-Doo rider for probably the last 20 years. And he made the switch and came back out to Aquacross this year. He took last year off. For him to come back after taking a year off and switching hulls, I mean, that just speaks volumes of this kid's talent.
Yeah, that I couldn't imagine how hard that would be to do. Now, granted, everybody kind of took a little bit of time off last year, obviously because of the pandemic and everything going on. But, it's hard to believe how much you actually lose in your abilities, your training, your athletic abilities, even your 1 year. So many things can change. To be able to come back out here and be in the points lead the way that he is, I think it's an awesome thing. And plus the brands thing, that's a whole nother learning curve to it. So not only are you relearning yourself in racing, but you're relearning yourself onto a new team, a new boat, trying to get everything figured out.
Well, you can see that they're getting ready to line up here for the start of the race. And I don't know if you just seen that right there, Mike. Ian Tosca taking his back seat off a little bit, trying to get a little bit more O2 down to that engine compartment.
Now, believe it or not, it's just as humid here as it was in Michigan City where we were last time. Michigan City, not known for humidity. It's actually a clean air place, not a lot of pollution in the air where we were, but it was still very sticky up there. So down here, pretty similar conditions to there temperature-wise. But again, the salt water is the variable here that, nobody knows what can happen.
See Mikey Boston, number 69, one of our amateur racers. Number 305 right there in the background, Mikey Martinez.
So these boats even have reverse on them. I mean, they have the neutral reverse setup on them, too. That fascinates me.
Now, you don't want to use that during the race.
No. You don't want to use it when you're pleasure riding one either. I mean, if you're running. But it is pretty cool how they're able to do that. But they have to leave it stock, so that's a stock piece. Can they take it off if they wanted to?
Well, no. Actually, they can't. They can't do anything to it. Just a little bit of handling.
Okay.
And that's it. Everything has to be stock on these boats. If it's not stock, Jeremiah, who is our tech inspector, will put the smack down.
Let you know that you were wrong?
We call him the official lie detector.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a human lie detector. Not sure if that was a course marshal boat that it looked like two maybe course marshal boats on the outside. Now, you said this will be a running start, right, like we had in Michigan City?
Yeah, rolling start, and with the IJSBA, basically what happens is you'll have one on the inside, one of our marshals on the inside, one of our marshals on the outside, one in the middle. The one on the inside will have the green flag. When his flag drops, that'll signify the start of the race. And so it looks like a couple of racers, maybe that's Frankie Mojica and the 305 of Pedro Jimenez, that are hanging out right there by the pier. I'm not sure if they have a mechanical issue or what, but we are still on our parade laps, getting ready for the start here.
It says I look here, it says the pros are doing their orientation now, and boat number 915 is not racing, so boat number 915 out for the day. Not sure what happened there.
Taking a look down, that might be Mike Arcamone. Yeah, Michael Arcamone, who did very well up in Michigan City. Actually took a second in Michigan City. It was his best finish ever.
Oh, that's awesome.
He's actually a salesman over there at Broward Motorsports.
Okay.
Maybe they needed his boat.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah. Or hopefully they'll just be able to get it figured out for either this afternoon's race or tomorrow's race. Now, is he on the Broward team, or is he private?
No, he's definitely on the Broward team. He's part of the team.
Is that part of his incentive package?
He sells all the boats to the racers, and then he gets to race too. That's that. Now there's Matt Smith doing something you shouldn't do. He took off his helmet there, and he's still out on the water, and I'm sure that he'll get a little talking to about that.
Yep. Well, it can't be cool within the helmets. I mean, obviously you can take your goggles off a little bit and kind of idle and mill around, but they want to be careful with the idling and the milling because they're going to burn up fuel. And I'm sure, just like the offshore boats, these guys are calculating their fuel down to like the 10th of a gallon to be able to save weight.
And we've actually seen that before, Mike, where it'll be on the last lap of the race, and then the guy starts choking out who's out there in the lead and realize he didn't put enough fuel in his boat, and everybody tries to get out there. They try to be the lightest. They try to be the fastest, and you got to, again, take a look at the conditions.
Yep.
If it's flat conditions, you can use less fuel. If it's, it's a little choppier,
rougher,
you want to put a little more fuel in there. And you can see as they are mustering up, staging up, getting ready for race number 1. Final round. I'll tell you, man.
Beautiful St. Petersburg, Florida. Beautiful day. Little hazy out there. A little humid. We talked about how humid it was last night. We were walking around. It was very hot last night. Obviously, one of those rain showers came through, kind of cooled it off a little bit. But I can only imagine how hot these guys are because they're wearing full suits, right?
Yeah, they're wearing full wetsuits.
Okay.
Yep.
And that's required.
That is required, and back protectors are required here at P1 Aquacross as well.
Back protector, what is a back protector?
Back protector protects your spine, very similar to what you'd see in motocross.
Like a kidney belt?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, a couple of folks that we didn't talk about, Eric Francis, he was the 2019 world champion. He currently sits 7th in the points. James Wilson, who made the track over, as we are lining up for the start. Wilson also on the podium in Michigan City. Sophie Francis, the only female out there. Boat number 191. Eric Lagopoulos, another local product, rounds out your top 10. And you can see they are in the attack position as we get set to go, and the green flag gets ready to drop here from St. Petersburg.
Looks a little choppier from this vantage point than what we had originally imagined it would be, down kind of lower.
Well, it looks like we got a green flag. Your leader, though, let off the gas. I'm wondering if they threw a red flag.
Yep.
Because it looks like everybody off the gas a little bit.
Nope, but now they're seeming to go again.
And we're a little pixelated up here.
I'll pay attention to what our scorers are saying.
So, obviously, the green flag, a go out there on the track again. 30 minutes plus a lap here in P1 Aquacross. I see that's McCluggage, it looks like, on the inside. Easy to pick out that yellow number 46.
This is a really tight group within the top 3.
Yeah, you can see, I see that's Tori Snyder, Visit St. Pete Clearwater Yamaha. Was back there in that second, third position.
Yeah, green, yellow colored boat, sponsored by Visit St. Pete. Very easy to see that.
There's the 131. That's Eric Francis. Francis, who had he started the season really rough, but you know what? He over the 2020, hiatus, had a child, and things change.
Sometimes having a kid can change your mentality about how you do things. Sometimes they can. But a good shot there of the whitewater, what these riders are going to have to deal with, and what Eric is seeing out in front. Clear water, open vision, no spray. He's definitely got the advantage here.
And I got to think that Eric is out here for redemption this weekend. He's had a tough season, both him and his wife. His wife's currently running in 9th place. But they've had a rough season as far as mechanical failures and so forth. And now, this is the time. We call him the Eagle on tour, and we'll see if the Eagle can land here in St. Pete.
Let's hope so. As again, this is this big group mass headed together. That's your leader all the way up to the front, very left-hand side of your screen. That should be Eric Francis in the lead, at least last time we saw on a tighter in shot. But look at all the chaos just happening back behind him. A lot of separation, though, Mike, that looks like team 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, where they were all grouped up last time we saw them together. Now they're starting to separate a little bit out.
Yeah, wide shot right there. As we go back on to our leader there, the Eagle, Eric Francis. He's out of West Palm Beach, Florida. Started his racing career actually at one of my closed course races up in Fort Walton Beach back in the mid-'90s.
Okay.
And, he has done nothing but excel in the sport of personal watercraft racing. Also, as a side note, he has a pinball machine store.
That you were telling me about him last time in Michigan City. I think you were talking about buying one from him.
Yeah, the KISS pinball machine.
That's right, yep, we talked about that.
He wanted $7,000. I was about 6 short.
It's a lot of money for a pinball machine, but I understand they can fetch it.
Yeah.
He's got a really, really good lead, though, and he wants this battle in second now. Who is ever in second and third, they're starting to tighten up. That's better for Eric out in front. They'll start slowing each other down, worrying about racing each other, and he can check out hopefully even further.
This looks like your battle for third place right here, and it looks like that's McCluggage on the inside, and that's possibly Daly on the outside right there.
Now, when I'm looking at Cluggage, he's doing a lot of bouncing. There's a lot of arms, head staying pretty still, but I look at some of the other racers, they're riding a lot more stiff, it looks like. They're trying to not absorb as much with the body. What's the pros or the cons to doing either one?
Well, I think that, what Mac tries to do is he tries to, use his knees and his elbows as kind of shock absorbers. Okay. Obviously, we have no suspension. Right. We ain't got no RG3 up in here.
No, not by any means. But now the leaders will have to contest with the saltwater and with the spray once they kind of start getting up into the lap traffic. They will get into the pro-ams or to the amateur class here in St. Pete and they'll start having to worry about it. What about vision here? Because anybody that has ever swam in the ocean or Tampa Bay, you actually come out with a film on. You come out with a little crustiness on. You feel it when you put on a shirt. What about vision? What about goggles? Are they running tear-offs here? Or
Well, they're not running tear-offs, but it's always a good measure to throw some Rain-X on the goggles before you go out there. Obviously, like you say, the salt will actually leave a stain on the goggles. So if you don't have any type of protection there, like I say, most of the folks use Rain-X, and you can see it looks like Tori Snyder challenging there for that second place position. We got Francis in first, Snyder in second, McCluggage in third.
I got to wonder if something's wrong with boat number 46. He seems to be losing ground as to where he was in a pretty solid second place before, passed very easily there, and then the fifth place, or this is actually a fourth place boat just to the right of our screen, he's actually made up and caught him pretty quickly.
Yeah, well, McCluggage started off very rough season for Mac. We know him as the GOAT, the greatest of all time, but started off very rough. Had a bunch of mechanical problems early on in the season, and was able to put together a great package for the Michigan City event. And you can see right now he's challenging Tori Snyder for that second place position. Again, Tori Snyder, somewhat of a local, man. It's kind of his home waters. I would say they're shark infested at this point.
Yeah, we have looks like we had a yellow flag going into that turn there. I guess that means somebody's down, maybe a rider down or spun out.
Yeah, it looked like there was a rider that was down there, and the course marshal was putting him on the gaff, going to bring him in. And again, look at this battle for second place. Snyder still leading, but here comes McCluggage. McCluggage going to try to set up on the outside and tries to work to the inside of Snyder, and pulls up side by side. They are deck to deck as they work their way into that chicane. McCluggage getting out the broom. He's going to sweep hard. Nothing doing. Snyder still maintaining that position.
Now, Snyder was on the outside of that turn, so he's going to be the inside of this turn. Snyder's on the Visit St. Pete machine, correct?
Yeah, he's on the Visit St. Pete Clearwater. I'm not sure if McCluggage just spun out just a little bit there. That's going to give Snyder just a little bit more of a lead. So again, your top five, you got Francis out in front. You got the 110 of Snyder in second, McCluggage in third, Christian Daly in the fourth spot, and Herminio Iantasca, your points leader, in the fifth spot. Come on, Naples, Florida. Herminio Iantasca, sponsored by Riva Racing. As well as Mamma Mia's Pizza down there. Big shout out to Christina and Joe. I know that they're listening in. Our thoughts and our prayers are with your entire family here from the booth. And look at this. Looks like we got a battle going on up here for that second place position. Again, McCluggage challenging Snyder. McCluggage like a bad rash, man. He just won't go away.
No, not by any means. And this group is really tightened up. Actually, readjusted our booth here a little bit. I might be able to see a little bit more clearer on the laptop. I was hoping that's up on our bigger screen.
You can see right there the gap between McCluggage and Daly, two of the Broward Motorsports pilots. Daly currently, I believe, in the fourth position as we came into the points today. So still an outside shot. Again, as we look at the top five, you got Francis out in front, McCluggage in second, Snyder back in third, Daly in fourth, and Iantasca in the fifth spot.
And Daly's running the green numbers, right? He's the green 46 boat, correct?
That is actually McCluggage that's running in that boat right there. You see McCluggage right now trying to challenge for the lead. That is Francis that is right in front of him. Francis McCluggage both riding for Broward Motorsports this weekend. So one thing that they don't want to do is get together and take each other out.
No, because they're going to create twice as much work for their team when they head back into the pits, and they have another race again this afternoon.
Again, this is only race number one. We've got two more to go this weekend.
Chris is really looking for water. He is kind of all over the place. He's inside, he's outside. He's trying to find that line. Looks like he can make the pass work here on the outside finally, but he was all over back there behind him trying to make the pass into second.
Well, I'll tell you, some great racing going on here in St. Petersburg. Hope everybody at home is enjoying the broadcast. Visit St. Pete Clearwater. Final round. You got Francis out in front, Daly in second.
That was just a pass for the lead as they made the right around that yellow buoy.
So Daly had moved into second over McCluggage, and you can see just how tight everything is right here as we get a wide shot. And we'll go back out to McCluggage. You still got Francis up in front, Daly in second, McCluggage in third. The 110 back there in the fourth spot, and that is Tori Snyder. Snyder coming into this race in the fourth position, and Ian Tosca, the points leader, currently sitting in fifth. Once again, this is race 1 of 3, 75 points up for grab as we take a look at the Mac Attack here in St. Pete.
Yeah, and you can get almost like whoops on a motorcycle. He's really letting his body do a lot more of the work, not riding it stiff. So that may be starting to pay off. It's a little bit choppier than what we think out there. This kind of looks like Michigan City water, a little bit more airtime for these guys, so they're having to really play endurance at this point. But it looks like Chris is just opened it up as to where it looked like he was struggling to me earlier on. I think he's found his setup, kind of come into his setup just a little bit, found clean water, and now he's able to check out.
You know, I'm taking a look down at my stopwatch, and unofficially we're coming up on just about 10 minutes, just about a third of the way. I tell you, you know, this is where, you know, things start to get strategic.
Well, and you saw strategy right there. The top 1 and 2 boats. The first boat, which we believe to be Chris, he actually went out. He went tight to that right, and then he swept out into that left-hander, trying to scrum off as little speed as possible. The second place boat went pin to pin. He went tight on the right and then tight off of the left. He was running the least amount of ground, but he had to have acceleration to be able to pick the speed up, as to where Chris, out in the lead, he was trying to carry the speed through that left-hander to set him up for that straightaway.
And second place probably using a little bit more energy.
Yep,
You know what I mean? And that's going to come into play when you're in that last
force.
5 minutes.
Yep, a little bit more force, a little bit more drain on the body there. But then again, speed also. The fact, distance really at this point not making that much of a difference, especially on a small little straight like that. But it was interesting to see how they took the different lines there. Really good shot.
So McCluggage, Daly, Francis, all your top 3. McCluggage in the lead. I mean, that's just where he wants to be. It's where he needs to be. You know, if he wants to take that overall, came into the race 7 points down from Ian Tosca. Ian Tosca currently running in the 5th spot right now, which I believe would give him about 14 points for this race right here. Again, 25 points available each race. And the Mac Attack looking to take that 25 away here from race number 1. McCluggage out in front. Daly in second. 131. Francis in third. Tori Snyder in the 4th spot. And Ian Tosca rounding out your top 5 as we are over a third of the way through this one. And Chris McCluggage, man, looks like Mikey's picking up where he left off in Michigan City.
It does for sure. I think he likes these conditions. He likes this water. It'll be interesting to find out what happened to Ian Tosca, though. He's going to have to go back maybe and do some homework here, points leader. Again, only by 7 points, but to be back all the way in 5th place, it's definitely kind of going to frustrate him a little bit, but he doesn't want to overthink it at this point, right? Just race. He knows he has 2 more races coming up that he can make up some ground, so he's just going to have to be smart about what he's doing out there today, or at least in this race currently.
Well, that's the whole thing. You know, you think about Ian Tosca, and Ian Tosca's been this way the entire season, is that, you know, it's consistency that builds championships. You know, as long as he's up there, top 3, top 5, you know, he knows he's going to get some points. You know, if he's way back in the back of the pack, if he breaks down, then there's an issue. And that was a problem with McCluggage earlier this season. You know, McCluggage had some breakdowns, you know, coming into Michigan City a couple weeks ago. He was in 5th place, and he jolted himself from 5th to 2nd place because of some great finishes out there. So again, a lot of this, it's not just the athletic ability, it's can the boats hold together.
Right. It's attrition. It's always a race of attrition, whether it's an actual physical pump problem, it could be a mechanical problem. Remember, these are 4-stroke motors. These aren't 2-strokes. They've got turbos, they've got valves, they've got cams, they've got clutches now. You know, there's a lot more things that can break. You lose a turbo on one of these jet skis, it's done. You're pretty much ate the motor up for the day.
Yeah, it's a great race here between McCluggage and Daly, his teammate. Christian Daly, no slouch either, as you see McCluggage starting to work his way through some lap traffic. It looks like he might have got forced a little bit wide there.
Well, we talked about this.
And there's Daly, side by side, deck to deck. Here we go. This is what it's all about. Daly on the gas. McCluggage has the position. And McCluggage just going to power down and say, beat it, young man.
Well, you got to wonder if Chris did get pushed out a little bit, because then all of a sudden Daly was back to the inside. So maybe he saw that window. And there's that turning situation we saw. Chris went out wide, wanted to try and save the speed. Daly must be very confident in his setup. Went right to that pin, thought he had the acceleration to get away from it. This is a really great 1-2 battle between the teammates here in St. Pete.
Well, coming into Michigan City, Daly was your points leader, and Daly with just a horrific stop there in Michigan City. Went from first to fourth. So you know that he has the talent. I mean, he was a leader after 3 rounds coming into Michigan City. So you know that he's got the talent. McCluggage able to power out of that one just a little bit. But the young gun's right there. He's got a pole in the water trying to reel in a big fish.
Now, seeing as how Chris is in second, Daly is currently, it looks like, in fourth, if I'm reading that correctly. Is team strategy going to play in here a little bit? Because this helps Chris a lot. This is very good for him, especially with I can't say his name, sorry.
McCluggage.
No, the fourth place rider.
Oh, okay, Daly. Yeah, so here, I think the deal is, I don't think that, like a lot of times you would see in a lot of different sports, people blocking for other people and stuff like that. I don't think that you're going to see that here this weekend.
Well, not even blocking, but and I know that everybody wants to win, but sometimes, you know as well as I do, there are team orders that if your teammate is in first and he can win the championship,
you want that. The team. You're winning for the team.
You're winning for the team.
That's where take one for the team comes.
Right, exactly. And I'm wondering if you're going to see the same thing here. Simply because Ian Tosca, he is your leader. He's currently sitting back in fourth place, way off the pace, it appears, from what we can tell. But you've got 2 Broward Motorsports boats, 1 and 2. That really works in Chris's favor right now. 2 points out of it.
Well, I'll tell you what, you can't count out Ian Tosca, though, man. He's got Dean Cherrier spinning the wrenches underneath the hood of that boat, and Cherrier has won multiple national and world titles. And you got Tim Judge spinning the wrenches for Tori Snyder's boat. Cherrier actually spins the wrenches for McCluggage's boat. So, who's he spin the wrenches the tightest for?
Right, exactly. Yeah. Whose boat's going to come loose first?
And there's Ian Tosca. A good shot of Arminio Ian Tosca out of Naples, Florida. Been racing for nearly 30 years with us in the IJSPA. So you got McCluggage again up in front, followed by Daly, Tori Snyder in the 3rd spot, and it looks like Ian Tosca has been able to get past Francis and advances into that 4th spot. That's going to give him some more points toward that overall title, Mike.
Starting to chip at it way just a little bit. We're just about past the halfway point, 15 minutes of this 30 minutes plus 1 event here in St. Pete. But a good day for Chris. Eric Davis, though, kind of unfortunate. He really had a good start, really good lead. Is it a factory versus privateer rider at that point?
Francis is on the same equipment that McCluggage has got. They're all Broward Motorsports.
Oh, okay.
And Daly. Those 3 riders right there. Vanjie Ramji. Now that's the rider that I want to see. I want to see where he's at on the track. Obviously took a 2nd place in Michigan City. Took a 3rd in the World Championships back in 2019. Represents the Cayman Islands. Came into this race 7th in points, but took a 2nd on the podium that last race, and that makes me, just kind of suspicious where he's at, because that he's in the hunt. He's one of those young guns that he eats iron and spits nails.
Mike, I think Daly may actually be a little bit faster than Chris. Chris is really running some wide lines, and I'm seeing Daly be able to kind of start tucking around him and show his nose in there. And I wonder if he's start to run a wider track. May know that he's got a little less speed than Daly does, but he's going to try and defend his position. But you can see it in some parts of this track. There's a lot of inside and outside movement between these top 2.
But Mike, it's just like when we talk about it motocross. When they go into a berm turn, you can tell whose elbows get 9 feet long into that berm turn, and that's exactly what McCluggage is doing right now. He's out in front, but he might not be the fastest racer out there.
But you've got to be smart to win it. They've gone into this corner a couple times. You saw the yellow flag there with the course marshal. That looks to me to be some sort of buoy issue. There were a couple of boats there holding it, so not sure what happened to that turn, but it could have broke free or something. Maybe even somebody hit it, hard to say. Yeah,
it looks like one of those course marks out there broke free, and I'm looking to visit St. Pete Clearwater boat out there, Tori Snyder. Snyder still dicing it up with boat number 94. That's Ian Tosca. And it looks like Ian Tosca might have just moved into 3rd place.
Maybe. It did look like it. You got to see a good turn there because Ian Tosca went out way wide, carrying the speed as to where the Vincent St. Pete boat, he dove to the inside, squared it up, and you saw just the tremendous amount of loss of speed. When he dug that boat in, it just it didn't stop, but it virtually stopped, and then he had to get going again. So really scrubbed off a lot of speed, and that gave Iantosca the ability to be able to get around.
Well, Mike, one of the things you don't want to do is leave the door open when you got a rider with 25 years experience right behind you.
Exactly.
So taking a look back at your top 5 as we are over halfway through this one. You got McCluggage up in front, Daly in second, Torrey Snyder in the third spot. Actually, that might have just swapped. It might be Iantosca in third, Snyder in fourth, and boat number 243, Wilson, back there in the fifth spot.
That's my stand-up guy from Daytona Beach.
That's your stand-up guy from Daytona Beach. He took a third in Michigan City, currently sits ninth in the points with 85 points. His first year ever sitting down. I think he's kind of liking it.
Yeah, as we get another update here. Boat 131, that was Davis.
That was actually Francis.
Oh,
yeah.
Francis, I'm sorry. Eric Francis, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Francis fell off his boat. Got back up, not quite sure if he maintained his position in the third place there where he was. Snyder was back in fourth. Iantosca was in fifth. 243 Wilson in sixth. McCluggage up in the top spot. That's what we got as we are nearing the 2/3 mark here in race number 1, P1 Aquacross. You're watching the Visit St. Pete Clearwater final round of P1 Aquacross. Mike Young hanging out with Mike Yawoski. Mike, man, great to have you up here in the booth.
Awesome to be here. I'm growing with the jet ski thing here. I'm growing with the Aquacross. And I didn't know anything in Michigan City. Now I'm kind of able to announce the race. I'll apologize to the families listening at home if I screw up the riders' names. I'm sorry. I don't know well that yet. And Mike Young's kind of selfish about his paperwork over here to my left. He's not sharing very well. But no, it's really a lot of fun. I'm starting to be able to understand it.
Well, I tell you what, you're doing a fantastic job. It's just, for me, it's nice to have someone to bounce off of up here in the booth as we take a look at the Visit St. Pete Clearwater boat right there. That was Torrey Snyder. Snyder still running in the fourth place position according to the results that we have here at room 1310.
We just got an announcement from Race Control. Offshore testing now is going to start at 11:30 and be extended to 4 p.m. So the second race for Aquacross will start at 4 p.m. today, where it was scheduled to, I believe, 3 or 3:30. So that's just pushed back a little bit, just due to some timing issues. I think they were a little bit slower on the start for the Aquacross than what we thought. Wanted to be out there by 10. I think it's a little longer than the parade time. Yeah,
well, it takes a long time to get off these elevators here at the Hill.
As our correct top 5 shows up.
Okay, we got boat number 46 out in front. That is the Mac Attack. Chris McCluggage is Broward Motorsports teammate, boat number 105 in second. And Torrey Snyder Visit St. Pete Clearwater. Snyder built Yamaha back there in the third spot. Riva Racing's Erminio Iantosca in the fourth spot. 243 Broward Motorsports. James Wilson in the fifth spot. And boy, I'll tell you, still looking for Ramjeet on the 116, man. Where's my Cayman Island carrier out there?
You've got something for him, don't you?
I do. I've got to say, I'm the race director down there in the Cayman Islands. I've been for the last 13 years. So I go down there about 6 times a year.
Whoa, look at that move. I don't know who that was. That squared up the corner. I thought he'd be able to make the pass, but it looks like the rider, it looks like a green boat, black and green boat. He'll have the inside lane going into the next corner. And this is, I believe that's the issue where they're having the buoy concern there.
Yeah, and it's funny that you mentioned that, because that's where the racer wants to take advantage.
Yep.
Wherever there's an issue, and somebody's going to be distracted, that's where they're going to try to make their move.
Well, at this point, I think Iantosca just has to be smart about his race, not make any mistakes, run his race. He knows he's not going to catch the top 3. I don't know if he knows who's in first. You can probably see him when they exit the turn. Obviously going to have to go back and do some homework, probably do some changes to figure out for race number 2. He's going to have to make up some ground. He's going to be, if points finished as they were right now, without the extra 2 races, it would be Chris's, based upon how the points are spread out, being that Iantosca's in 4th place, correct?
That would be, yeah, exactly. And I just noticed there how, Iantosca kind of hit the brakes as he was going around that buoy that has the issue. You can see one of our Marshall boats.
They've been working on it for a while. They've been trying to get it figured out.
Yeah, something probably happened off camera. And that looks like the 116 of Ramjeet. There's 46 back out to McCluggage, your race leader. And again, McCluggage is doing exactly what he needs to do. He knew that he had to come here this weekend and win. Again, the top 5 stayed the same. There's less than 8 minutes left to go. You got McCluggage out in front, Daly in second, Snyder in third, Ian Tosca in fourth, and Wilson in fifth on boat number 243. As we take a look at our race leader there, Chris McCluggage, sponsored by Monster Energy. Man, that's a great sponsor to have.
It is. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, there's a lot of Monster Energy sponsored people out there. And they got to see the super cool Kurt Busch commercial when he drove the boat down into the Keys. I've made that drive a million times in my life. Pretty cool to see a NASCAR go down there and do it.
Yeah.
I think that Monster and Red Bull and A-Game and all these drink companies are taking sponsorship of these videos to the next level of what they're getting to do. If you watch F1, you've seen the Red Bull where they've driven the car basically Max Verstappen drove the car across the country, Miami Beach, Denver, Colorado, Texas, and like he was driving it like on normal roads. It's really cool to see how these energy drinks are getting it, and obviously Monster Energy Drink and A-Game for sponsoring the series.
I tried my first A-Game yesterday, man.
Did you?
That was probably one of the best drinks I've ever had. It actually it has natural ingredients.
Oh. I like how you roll with that. Maybe we can get some for race number 2.
Okay, well, hey, Webby and Danielle, if you can hear us out there, we're up in 13-10. It's at Hilton.
A-Game girls could help too.
Exactly.
I wouldn't complain about that either.
But meanwhile, back out on the track, it's still the Monster Energy racer, Chris McCluggage. He's also sponsored by Broward Motorsports, Sam Nemi, and his team really going the distance. I don't know if you went back there in the P1 Aquacross pits, but they brought 2 tractor trailers this weekend and a motor home. I don't know what they're doing back there, but I certainly want to be a part of it.
I know, for sure. But this is a hometown race for them. This is the last race of the series, right? This is it for the 2021 season. So they want to bring all the cards. They're going to lay it all out on the table. And obviously it shows with Chris out in the lead. Their number 1 rider, just a few points back in second place. This is what he needed to do. When he woke up this morning, this is his first thought in his mind. I need to go out and win today because now he has set the precedent for everybody else to catch him.
And I love it because racing is totally in the family. His son races, his daughter races. His wife was a former women's ski world champion.
Oh, wow.
So I mean...
a lot of different things.
There's a lot of adrenaline there in the McCluggage household.
It's a pretty big family dynamic. What does Chris do what is his full-time job?
Well, he owns one of the Broward Motorsports properties. He's up in the Jupiter area.
Okay.
Sam runs the one down in Broward. But
the one that Chris owns is a dealership.
Yep.
Okay. Fascinating how these guys are all racers for them. I definitely think this is part of the incentive package. You sell X amount of Sea-Doos or Yamahas a year, you can go out and race for them.
Right, exactly.
I need a job.
And come to work for us, too.
Right, yeah, exactly.
We have insurance.
Right, yeah, exactly.
McCluggage just, he's dicing up the competition as we get to the waning moments here of race number 1.
White flag should be out very shortly, I would think.
Again, and it's interesting. I don't believe that they combined them with the amateurs, and so you don't see as much lap traffic. In Michigan City, we've seen a lot of lap traffic. How they had to get, in between and through the lappers, but you're not seeing that as much here with just the pro class out there on the racetrack.
Was Michigan City a bigger or smaller course?
It was a little bit bigger. It was about a quarter mile.
Really? Okay.
It was about a quarter mile bigger than what we're seeing out here. You're seeing some quicker lap times out here. As again, we focus on Chris McCluggage, your race leader, still followed by Daly, Christian Daly, out of Carmel, Indiana, also sponsored by Broward Motorsports in the second spot. Tori Snyder back in the third spot on the Visit St. Pete Clearwater boat. Ian Tosca still staying steady right there in fourth. Again, you're looking at 25, 20, 18, 16 points that he would carry. McCluggage would carry 25 points if things stay as they are, so that will put McCluggage into the lead as we come into race number 2.
Yeah, and Ian Tosca's going to have to go back and do some homework. You can guarantee that his crew's already probably thinking about things they can do differently to that boat and just get things figured out. Just little tweaks here and there, I would imagine.
And with 20 points daily, that brings him right back up into the mix.
So what you're saying is the second, third race could be kind of exciting.
You know what? I got goosebumps. We're on the last lap. The white flag is out. Here for race number 1. McCluggage sitting, in the driver's seat right now. it's his race to win or lose. I believe he's probably going to win it.
It looks like it, but
you know,
you don't win it until you finish it.
That's right.
Anything could happen.
Not till we see the checkered. Lap times probably right around a minute here, as they were about 1:10.
How
minute
fast are they going? What speed do they see? You think?
Here, I'm thinking you're probably looking somewhere between 70 and 75.
Okay.
You know, water, it's not that choppy. If it's a little more choppy, like in the surf Daytona, you're normally seeing speeds 60 to 65.
Okay.
But here, not as choppy.
So they
we're
like
on the
this
intercoastal.
water?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Or do they want it flatter than this?
Well, a lot of the riders, they want the surf because
Okay.
it's kind of an
It's an
equalizer.
Right. Okay.
You know,
Same thing with offshore. The rougher water really brings out who's going to be the better.
who's the better pilot? Who's the better driver?
Now, I just want to make a joke about Chris here. I see it's got the 3 levels of seating, which represents in the seating or the Yamaha world that it's a 3-seater jet ski. Do you think the family goes out and rides this with them?
I think so. I think, they got a little baby stroller on the back, you strap over the top.
Well, I was wondering about that, because like Supercross riders, they'll ride with they'll put the lip in their seat because especially on the new bikes, it pulls them back so much, that's how they stop. Same thing here, I guess, right? Chris is using that behind him to kind of prevent him from sliding back.
From sliding back,
Okay.
Exactly, yeah. Use that raised seat in the back, and McCluggage, again, not too much time left to go in this one. The Mac Attack, Broward Motorsports, looking to take that top spot as the checkered flag comes out, Mike.
Oh, congratulations to Chris. That was a great race. Did not get the best of starts, but he was able to pick him off. He did exactly what I've said it 100 times. He did exactly what he needed to do. He has the confidence to not change anything into race number 2, as to where Ian Tosca is really going to have to probably make some changes and rethink his game plan. Hard to do after race number 1 going to race number 2.
Going back to my golf game, my dad used to tell me all the time, it's not how you drive, it's how you arrive.
That's right.
And McCluggage arrives in first place here in race number 1. Taking a look right there, Visit St. Pete Clearwater Boat. Torrey Snyder, boat number 110, somewhat of a local product. I believe he ended up unofficially in that third place. Daly in second, boat number 105. Can't count Daly out yet. Anything could happen. You get any type of mechanicals, anything like that. Again, we're looking at McCluggage with the win. Daly in second, Snyder in third. Ian Tosca, your points leader, coming in fourth place. And, of course, Jimmy Wilson, boat number 243, another Broward Motorsports racer up there in the top 5. So 3 of the top 5 racers, Mike, Broward Motorsports racers.
Now, Chris is doing a lot of moving around on his boat there, looking down. I don't know if he's tired, if he's happy. Can you hear the whistles? I mean, I can hear him faintly through our sound system, but can the racers hear the whistles?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Those whistles are 120 decibels. They're Fox 40s, the official whistle of not only the NFL, the NBA, but P1 Aquacross.
Don't give that to my 4-year-old. I do not need to have that in my house. Keep that to yourself. He got a little plastic trumpet at the carnival. It's an outside toy. It sits in the outside toy box just because I don't want to hear it in my house.
That's right. Never buy your kids a drum set.
No,
folks.
not by any means. Well, this is race number 1 for Aquacross. Race number 2, we have told is going to be scheduled until about 4 o'clock this afternoon. You'll be able to tune back in and watch live. And then we're going to offshore powerboat racing. But prior to offshore powerboat, we're going to have another Aquacross race first thing tomorrow morning. I think that's going to be around 9 o'clock, I want to say.
Yeah, first thing in the morning.
And then it should be the first race for the offshore boat races that's starting at 10:30. So that is kind of our schedule as we go on for the day. Go to P1 Offshore on Facebook or P1Offshore.com to keep up with the race boats. And for Aquacross, they can go to
P1AquaX.com.
There you go. Beautiful look at the Vinoy Pier there. Everybody getting a good shot. Now, why the color differences between the Broward skis? We know Monster Energy Drink obviously on board with Chris, but the front of Chris's boat's white as to where I think this is Daly, correct? His teammate. Why is this black? Is it just preference? Is it just to be able to distinguish a little bit?
Well, you've got the GP 1800s and the SVHOs.
Okay.
And that's probably the reason for the color variation there with Broward Motorsports, so you know
now,
which one you're getting on.
Can they change? Do they have could Chris select his boat at the beginning of the year? Could he ride either one of them and say, I like this one more or this one more? And
well, what they want to do is at the beginning of the day. If it's a little bit rougher, you probably want the heavier SVHO.
Okay.
If it's like Michigan City, you want the GP 1800.
Oh, so they've got a boat to choose from at each race.
Right.
Oh, okay. I ask really good questions. If nothing
Yeah,
else,
you do.
Yeah, I mean, it helps.
And you can see just the lineup on the pier. Well, coming up
Are we
next.
getting yelled at?
Yeah. We got some amateur racing coming up next, folks. P1 Aquacross, amateur 300, 200 coming up next. Mike Uoski, great having you here.
Yeah, buddy. A beautiful shot of the Vinoy Pier there. You can see all the fans down there. I imagine just as the day goes on, this is going to get more and more crowded as everybody heads to the beach. They'll pull these jet skis back out.
All right, taking a look at the race highlights here. The whole shot, you can see very tight right there with Snyder on the inside. However, it would be 131 who would grab the whole shot. That was Francis.
Checked out way early.
And unfortunately for Francis, didn't work his way up.
Yeah, that's a tough day for him. I really enjoyed getting to see him up there.
Came off his boat, but then McCluggage, man, I'll tell you what, like the star he is shining here in St. Pete so far here.
And this was the pass for the lead because Daly did lead for just a little bit, and then this was the pass for the lead after Daly and McCluggage went back and forth quite a bit, inside, outside, throwing their nose at each other, trying to find that way around, but Chris was able to make it stick finally.
Mike, you don't poke the goat.
No, not by any means.
Well, he poked the goat, and look what happened.
Yeah, right. More like poking the bear in this case.
The checkered flag for Chris McCluggage here in St. Pete. Race number 1 is in the history books. Well, we're going to get our amateurs all set to go. Take a short pause for the cause. For Mike Uoski, my name is Mike Young. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes.
If making a bold statement comes naturally, then you've come to the right place. Because demanding the very best from every second spent on the water is your undeniable right. So don't apologize if you believe you're only truly living when you're on the move. Because you, my friend, belong on a Yamaha Wave Runner. The future of personal watercraft is now available water-wide.
Nitro Circus is back with the action-packed You Got This tour. Top athletes in FMX, skate, BMX, scooter, and more are ready to get the party started, throwing down huge world's firsts with more crazy contraptions, more insane stunts, and more high adrenaline fun than ever before. Get ready, because we're coming to a city near you.
I don't even know what's happening anymore.
For info and tickets, visit nitrocircus.com.